Let's go ahead and revisit that time when the fight companion with Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, and even Bryan Callen pretty much take a huge dump on Brendan Schaub, making him really uncomfortable. I promise you, it's beautiful. So let's go to the past and check this out.
Both names? Can you imagine Joanna marries this guy and she wants to keep her last name, but dash his last name? Dude,
let me be straight. If your wife did not want to take your last name and she wanted to hyphen it, I would be like,
slap her.
You gotta, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, this ain't gonna work out.
What are you talking about?
What are you doing?
Joanna Yenjenjek.
Yeah, you would have to go.
Yeah, you want to get married
name.
and you don't even want to take my name?
No, we're out.
I would have to slap her. You gotta, well, this ain't gonna work out.
Oh God, Brendan Schaub's been projecting for years. This was part of his plan. Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, and Bryan Callen 100% knew that Brendan's wife hyphenated her name. A conversation happened. This is just them openly making fun of him. Schaub is or was too much of a wimp to say anything nor perceive it, which makes it even more hilarious. And seriously, why are we pretending he was wrong? Their marriage is absolutely not going to work out. He's spot on here. We should give Bappa credit for having the awareness to be so accurate for once. If he had predicted his marriage like he predicts fights, he would have actually won for once. But truly try to put yourself in Brendan's shoes. Your wife, the mother of your children, did the hyphen last name thing, which honestly, who effing cares? And yet the topic comes up in a shit-talking session with your friends who start ripping on it. I mean, what would you do? Well, a normal, even remotely confident person would say, hey now, my wife did that, and push back on everyone and maybe make some jokes about it. Call everyone a dick or a douche. And in the end, everyone laughs it off as it was never a serious conversation to begin with. However, instead, Brendan Schaub has to play along and act like he thinks it's a bad thing as well. I mean, God forbid he'd ever go against Joe Rogan's opinion on anything, even as trivial as this. The simple fact is Brendan Schaub likes everything Joe Rogan likes. They're essentially or basically the same person. And don't forget, they talk damn near every day, B. He goes so far as to say he'd slap her. No social awareness. Bappa's trying to appeal to Toe's violence. And yes, we all know that Eddie Bravo is doing that to expose Brendan 100%. Hell, I wouldn't call my boy out for that because I know any one of my friends would defend their wives at a minimum half-heartedly. Eddie knows he's gonna respond however Joe Rogan does, so he calls him out on it. Eddie isn't someone I'm a fan of, but he certainly has had Brendan Schaub figured out since day one. And I love it when Eddie fucks with Bappa. It's the best. This moment we all witnessed here, it just goes to show that they really don't know Brendan personally for good reason, of course. Just imagine Joe Rogan looking at Mexican's Instagram. Also, I'm sure they have a lot of comedian friends whose wives have different or hyphenated last names. It's just a hacky bit I used to hear like 30 years ago. But the look on Bappa's face is priceless though. God, I love seeing brain tard internally imploding like this. Oh, it's great. You're doing great, B. It's so unfortunate that Schaub can't laugh at himself or have one funny bone in his body. So he just goes along with whatever they're saying. But you can read it all over his face that he doesn't like the way they are talking. But it's Daddy Toe Rogan, so he has to do his best to try and play along. It just really goes to show how Brendan doesn't consider Joe Rogan to be a friend. Friends are peers who exist on the same plane. Schaub puts that pussy up on a pedestal to the point where he refuses to push back on anything because he doesn't want to upset what he thinks is his gravy train. Despite the fact, of course, that this particular train derailed itself in a fiery crash and is now a mass of burned up, rusted steel. Ironically, because Brendan is such a massive failure as a comedian and social climber, he hasn't picked up on the fact that people like Joe respect when people stand up against the crowd. Brendan Schaub does that same blank expression that Jason Genova does. It's revolting. It's insulting. He's actually Actually, reminded me a lot of the Sith Lord, to be honest. You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Bappa the Redacted? And you gotta just love how Brendan's agreeing with Joe Rogan the whole time. Yeah, I'd have to slap her. Yeah, we're out. His damn wife and mother of his kids, for Christ's sakes. He just steamrolls his own wife to fit in with the boys. Look at me, Papa Toe. I think the same thing. Am I cool? He probably would have gotten so much more respect if Bappa pushed back a bit and, for crying out loud, defended his wife just a little bit, man. Defend your family, defend your honor. But Brendan is pathetic as hell. Anyhow, let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below, because that's what truly matters, even though we don't matter. But hey guys, listen up, please hit that like button and the subscribe button on your way out. I would truly appreciate that. Also push the notification bell so you know when new videos come out. However, I will see all of you in the next video. Thank you.
Like, but the Balenciaga one, Jesus Christ.